everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Miga, and today we will be reviewing the concept of assigning R and S configuration to chiral center on the MCAT. So one thing I like to remember for the MCAT is that small table here. It's a part of the periodic table with CNOF, chlorine, bromine, iodide, P and S. Those are elements that you need to know so that you don't have to even open the periodic table during the exam. Okay, so that's the order of priority, right? Again, of course, follow the red arrow, right? So we're gonna apply it, and remember, for our configuration, we're gonna go this way, and S, so R clockwise and S counterclockwise. So let's apply the example in these two example here. Let's apply the concept here real quick. Let's do this. Okay, so first, how many chiral center we have here? Again, we're gonna focusing on the carbon. We wanna make sure the carbon is attached to 4 different groups. So we have 1, 2, 3, and of course, remember that there's always an hydrogen if it's not shown. Okay, and if the carbon is neutral. So here there's a hydrogen in the back. So let's call carbon purple. Carbon A is indeed a chiral center. Let's apply the priority according to my table. So again, quickly, let's zoom out so that we can have a good view of the table. Now let's assign the priority. So based on this, we can see that this carbon A is attached to a bromine, a sulfur, and another carbon and hydrogen. So whenever you see hydrogen, you know that it's gonna be the 4th priority. So now between sulfur and bromine, let's see which one has a priority. Bromine and sulfur, we know bromine has a higher priority. So we're gonna do number 1. And sulfur is next, number 2. And carbon is the one that will be number 3. This one here will be number 3. If remember, bromine, sulfur, carbon. You can see the trend. Now, let's see whether it's R or S. Once we have 1, 2, and 3, the 3 group in the order of priority. So now let's do this. We're gonna do 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. What is that? That's R. Before you go ahead and move on, make sure that the element that has the first priority is on the wedge. In this case, this group here, the bromine here, is ended on a wedge. It's in the front, so we can say that the compound is ended R. So let's quickly review. What if it was on a dash? Same thing. Again, see how the bromine here is on the dash. So let me put 1. We know this one is 1. According to the table, we agree that the sulfur is 2 and the carbon will be 3. Again, we will be doing 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. Initially, it will be R, but before we move on, again, we need to make sure to know, wait, is bromine here is in the front or in the back? Or is it on the wedge or on the dash? Here, it's on the dash. So the final one will be the other one, which will be S. So here we have S as configuration. I put it in purple. S, and the first one is let me remove A. Okay, so we're gonna apply it quickly to 2 other examples. Again, here let's try to solve it real quick without too much explanation. Try to do it with me as I'm talking. So quickly, let me write down my table on the side, like always: CNOF, chlorine, bromine, iodide, PS. We have 1 chlorine. We also have an hydrogen in the back. So this one's gonna be 4. We don't have to worry about it. So we have 1 chlorine, gonna be 1. We have 2 carbon. This carbon here, carbon red, is attached to 1 carbon and 2 hydrogen, and carbon purple is attached to 3 hydrogen. Let's break the tie. We see how we're carbon here. This is where we're gonna break the tie. Carbon has a higher priority, so we're gonna do 2 and 3. Let me put it in red so that it's more obvious. 2 and 3. Remember, this one was number 1. Let's remove the 4, or let's leave it, but it's not really important here, right? So 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, what is this? S. But before we move on, is chlorine, which is the element with the first priority, is it in the front or in the back? Is it on the wedge or on the dash? Here it's under the wedge, so that one, S, is the final configuration. Let's do one last example using something a little bit more tricky. Or let's say the molecule is scary, but it's the same concept, okay? All right, so I'm gonna do only for A, right? But if they were to ask me how many Chiral center this compound has, so I would be making sure that every carbon that I see are attached to 4 different groups. For example, here I know it's a Chiral center because I already said so. But if they didn't tell you, the only thing you can say is like for carbon A, we have 1 group that is different from this group here to 3 different groups. And remember, there is an hydrogen you can see. So this is indeed a Chiral center. So what about this one? This carbon here, is it a Chiral center? Let's see if it's attached to 4 groups. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is in the back. Okay, so that's also a Chiral center. This one is not a Chiral center because it's attached to this one here. It's attached to 2 hydrogen. That one isn't either, not a Chiral center, not a Chiral center, because the carbon here is attached to 1 oxygen, another oxygen, another oxygen. Definitely not a Chiral center. And again, you will see that there's not many Chiral center here. The only one we have are these 2. Now let's assign the priority for this one here. Let's see whether it's R or S. So I'm gonna write down again my table: CNOF, chlorine, bromide, iodide, PS. And real quick, we're gonna assign the priority. So nitrogen, we have carbon A is attached to 1 nitrogen and 2 carbon. Nitrogen will have the higher priority compared to carbon. So this one is gonna be 1. Now let's see for the other one. Now let's analyze each carbon separately. So carbon red is attached to 1 carbon and 2 hydrogen. And carbon blue, let's put in blue here, is attached to 1 oxygen, 1 carbon, and 1 hydrogen. So we can see the tie. Oxygen versus a carbon, which one is more important? Oxygen versus a carbon, oxygen is more important. So we know that our blue carbon here will have the 2nd priority, and this one here, the 3rd priority. So let me do it on the side so that it's neater. So we had 1, 2, and 3. So remember, 1, 2, and 3. I'm just putting on the side so that I can do the clockwise or counterclockwise direction. So 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. This is S initially, but before we move on, let me put this is S. But before we move on, let's make sure is carbon 1 is the group that has the first priority. Is it in the front or in the back? Okay, this, or is it on the wedge or on the dash? So here I can see it's on the dash, so I have to say it's gonna be the other configuration. So this center here is let me put it in green. Kind of hard. I know it gets messy a lot, but that's pretty much it for the review. Thank you for watching.